first saw Anne, one quiet afternoon when the air still held the sweetness of spring, and the light seemed softer, slower, as if the world itself were pausing to catch its breath. She had seen Anne before, of course, but that time was different. Anne stood alone, her profile half lit by the dying sun, the kind of beauty that made the space around her seem to expand. Katherine couldn't say what exactly it was that pulled her toward Anne that day. Was it the grace of her age, the quiet confidence in the way she held herself, or perhaps it was simply the feeling that in Anne's presence everything could be different. The evening light made her skin glow, but there was something else too, something that went deeper than the surface. Katherine watched her for longer than was polite, yet it felt impossible to look away. There was something about Anne that made everything Katherine thought she knew about the world and herself begin to rearrange. Anne was older, 23 years older, and there was something in her eyes that seemed to carry years Katherine hadn't yet lived. But Katherine, in her eagerness, wasn't aware of the caution that should have followed such fascination. She hadn't yet learned the gravity of attraction like this. The one that defies logic, that reshapes the very ground beneath your feet. It started with small things, a conversation that was meant to be about something trivial, until it became something else, something personal. Anne's voice had the same warmth as the light from the late afternoon sun, and when she spoke, her words felt like an invitation to an entirely new world. The sound of her laughter filled the spaces between them. Katherine found herself looking for those moments desperately, wishing they could last longer, even as she feared the weight of them. And there were touches, brief, fleeting touches, Anne's hand on her shoulder, the way her fingers lingered a little longer than necessary, or the soft, almost unnoticeable grace of her hand against Katherine's those moments, Katherine could feel the magnetic pull of something she couldn't explain. But what was right, really? When had the world ever been anything but a puzzle of contradictions? The first time Anne kissed her, it felt like something both inevitable and impossible. Katherine had barely understood the longing until it surged inside her. A tidal wave that drowned out every rational thought. It wasn't rushed, wasn't hungry, but instead felt like something earned over lifetimes, like all the seconds that had passed between them. All the stealing glances, all the words unspoken, had led to this singular, quiet moment. Katherine kissed her back with a tentative warmth, as if testing the depth of the waters she was about to drown in. And she did drown. There was no other way to describe it. The kiss was a revelation, a quiet upheaval of everything Katherine thought she knew, and made her feel seen. It was the way Anne held her gaze, as though there were no distance between them at all. As though Katherine, in all her youth, could be understood completely. Afterwards, in the silence that followed, there was no awkwardness. Instead, there was a kind of peace, as though they had both discovered something necessary, something that had always been there but had only now come to light. Katherine felt a kind of satisfaction, a deep knowing that could never be explained in words, only in the brush of Anne's lips against her temple. The soft exhale of breath shared between them. She also knew that in Anne, she had found something more profound than she had ever imagined. A love that was both timeless and fleeting, both familiar and foreign, both tender and intense. And so, as the days stretched on, Katherine fell deeper. She let herself be drawn into the quiet certainty of Anne's presence. Letting the world around them blur into the background. It was not the kind of love that screamed. It was the kind that whispered, ever so quietly, until it filled every corner of her heart. And Katherine, in all her youth and uncertainty, could only follow